And this is, sorry? Rochelle, sorry. Yeah, where is she? Yeah, Rochelle, big hug to you as well. Thank you for joining. You can read it. It's done. I do. Ah. Alex apparently knows you.
Very long.
Welcome to our new members. It's lovely to have you, and we look forward to seeing you grow in confidence and speaking and everything that your heart desires and whatever you're here for. We want to see you grow. So thank you for joining us. And now, the important part of the evening, we've got some very special guests with us. So I just want to check in with them. I'm going to start online. Leslie, welcome. What has brought you to our club this evening?
Hi.
Hi.
I want to, as some of the new members you just introduced I want to polish my speaking skills. I'm a teacher. I'm in the States, in America, and I'm bringing students to South Africa somewhat soon, my husband and I both. So I also want to expose them to as much as possible. And I've done Toastmasters groups here in the US. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. Thank you for joining us. I think Gabrielle mentioned you've been in communication with her and you're coming to do
Yes, that's right.
Okay, lovely.
Yes, thank you.
Here in person.
Yes, I look forward to meeting you in person too.
So thank you. Enjoy the meeting and I'll check in with you at the end. Okay. No one else on your Rochelle. Amit! Hi and welcome. You're also going to be a new member pretty soon. Currently, you're still a guest. How are you? Welcome back. Oh, lovely to have you. Nice to see you, even though you're online. Hopefully, we will get to see you in person soon.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Thanks, Amit. And now, in person, I'm going to start with Jeremy, an old ToastEd member. Welcome back. What has brought you back to Toastmasters?
I love you guys.
Nice to have you back. And you've brought a special friend with you, Bishop. Welcome. You've been to Toastmasters before. Would you like to share your story on Toastmasters or your journey with Toastmasters? Short and sweet.
Yes, short and sweet is that I went when I was in college.
Wow.
So about 10 years ago, and I remember it being really impactful. And I know a little bit about Jeremy's journey as well with it. And I also want to improve my ability to deliver a powerful message and speak without hesitation. And speak powerfully. So that's why I'm here to follow my fear.
Yeah, step into your fear. You also are a second-time visiting guest. Welcome back. What has brought you back to ToastEd?
I want to learn public speaking. Yes, I enjoy coming to the Toastmaster, and I know I can learn a lot. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You're in the right place, Luca.
Right. Thank you.
It's all about public speaking and facing your fears and standing up and speaking. So thank you for being with us this evening. I hope you enjoy your time.
Thank you.
And Gunther, also second-time visitor. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
What has brought you back this evening?
I feel like it was a really inclusive experience last time. And also, I think it's very common. Everyone just wants to improve the way they speak.
Yeah.
And like going forward, like professionally and personally, I don't want my inability to speak in public to not be the reason I do something.
Yeah.
So this is just a good place to practice.
Amazing. We're a safe space. It's interesting. Well, thank you. I think it was quite It was interesting because I attended a Talking Heads meeting, which is a Toastmasters that meets at Investec. Hi, Joy. Welcome.
So sorry.
Oh, Shane, please don't worry. But you are a fellow Toastmaster, aren't you? Are you a fellow Toastmaster?
No.
Oh,
Yes.
brand new.
Yes.
Okay. So you don't go to a Toastmasters club currently?
I want to.
Oh, okay. I'll pause my story. Someone will have to just remind me what I was talking about. No, you're fine. We just were checking in with the guests. Welcome. Sorry, you came so professionally on our Toastmasters email through the website. So I thought you were Toastmasters somewhere else. Okay, amazing. Wanting to improve your public speaking confidence. Okay, so that's why all of our guests are here. And that's what they normally go from guest to member so that they can improve their public speaking. Enjoy the evening. I'll check in with you at the end and you can let us know what your takeaways are. Okay. We went to, Michaela and I went and attended a Talking Heads meeting, and they have a beautiful venue at Invest Day. And her takeaway from that meeting was, it was so interesting because this is such a safe space that she is so, I mean, I'm speaking on her behalf, but such a safe space that she almost felt so intimidated walking into a completely different club and speaking, because now her message didn't necessarily land and she was like, oh gosh. So it's quite a nice gauge to also visit other clubs to see how they do things, for you to take your speeches there, because we are such a beautiful, warm, inviting club. Not that we don't give great evaluations, but you get a different feel for what it's like in the broader spectrum of Toastmasters. So I encourage you to also attend other meetings. If you want to know more, let me know and I will help you find other clubs around your areas, okay? Then I'm going to ask all of you online. I'm expecting a few other people. With this. Samsung, do you mind please renaming yourself and unmuting to let us know who you are so we can say hi to each other? Okay. Oh, hello. Can you hear us? Hi, I'm Justine. What's your name? See, Samsung, but I can't hear you, Samsung.
Are you referring to me, Justine?
Oh, hello, we can hear you. Sorry, what
Hello,
was your
hello.
name?
My name is Sicelo Yankees.
Hi, Siselo. Yes, I was expecting you. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. So sorry I logged in late. I just got back, came back from work right now.
Oh, no, you're fine. Siselo, what has brought you to Toastmasters this evening?
I did manage to try to join Toastmasters last year. I was actually advised by one of the gentlemen I met at business chambers in Woodstock. He kind of advised me to sort of participate in Toastmasters so that I can actually improve my vocabulary and my communication skill.
Fabulous. And are you in Cape Town?
Yes, I'm based in Cape Town, Millington now.
Oh, okay, fabulous. So you'll be able to come to an in-person meeting at some point.
No, definitely I will. Definitely I will.
Okay. Amazing. Siselo, it's lovely to have you. Thanks for being with us. And I will check in with you at the end.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. I would like to ask everyone online and in person to stand up, raise your glasses, and we are going to raise a toast. What's it? Make a toast to South Africa and all the speakers. To South Africa and all the speakers. I know. Yes. I now have the pleasure to introduce somebody who is brand new to the Toastmaster role. So we are going to give them all the encouragement, the terrific tabang.
Thank you, Madam President. One thing about Justine is that she will make you feel welcome. Let's give her a round of applause. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, both in the room and online. And I think we've actually got a record number of guests today. It's actually, yes, it's wonderful. Welcome all. Our theme today is self-care. When I introspect about self-care, just for myself, and I ask myself what self-care means to me, I think for me, it's just being kind to myself. Speaking to myself like I would speak to a friend. And with the theme today, I'm looking forward to hearing about the different ways that everybody sees self-care, because by definition, it's quite unique to every person. And today's meeting, we are in for a treat because we've got quite a number of speeches, but there's just a slight change to your agendas. If I can just ask you to note that we will have 4 speeches today. We'll be treated to 4 speeches. On your agenda, we've got 2 speeches that have dropped off. So you'll just hear from 4 speakers, and I think it's going to be interesting. And what we do have, before every speaker comes up, we have an evaluator come to tell us the objective of that speech, and we know what to look forward to. And before the evaluators come through, we'll hear from 3 role players. We've got 3 very important roles in Toastmasters, which are the timekeeper, the counter, the grammarian stroke listener. So each one of those will tell us, will describe that role to us so that we know what they are trying to achieve in terms of the structure of our meeting. First, we've got Quentin. I'm going to ask Quentin to come and describe to us the role of timekeeper. And yeah.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Quentin Xavier. Tonight I'm going to be the timekeeper for the evening. So the role of the timekeeper is just to try and make sure that monitor that speakers of the evening are using their time effectively. So there's 3 types of speeches. The main speech, which is 5 to 7 minutes, and I will raise different color cards depending on how long they've asked. So for speech 5 to 7 minutes, I will raise the green card at 5 minutes. I will raise the yellow card at 6 minutes, and the red card at 7 minutes. And then same principles for evaluation as well as table topics. The evaluation is 2 minutes, yellow card at 2.5 minutes, and then red card at 3 minutes. And then finally table topics, which last 2 minutes, the green card at 1 minute, the yellow card at 1.5 minutes, and then finally the red card at 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Quentin. With regards to the time, the guys online, just be assured that Justine will show that time on your screen. So you are also keeping up with the time that we are keeping to. Next, I'm going to request Helande, aka Sandro, to describe the counter, please. Helande.
Greetings, Madam Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. The purpose of the counter is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or pause fillers by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler sounds, including and are. I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or a phrase, such as I, or this means. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker uses these expressions. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Monday, aka Sandro. Next, we've got Anna, who will describe to us the role of grammarian.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any improper language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. For today's meeting, the word is astounding, which means capable of overwhelming with amazement, stunningly surprising, causing astonishment or amazement. Synonyms are incredible, unbelievable, beyond belief, or understanding. An example of using the word is, this is an astounding property. I am the property lender. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. I will give the grammarian's report when called upon during the meeting and also report on the usage of the word of the day. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Anna, for that astounding introduction and description of the role. Well done. I did mention earlier that there's a few changes to our agenda in terms of the speakers that we do have. So we've managed to make it short and pregnant, Gabrielle. Zebo is not here to give a speech, so we'll go to the next speech by Eugene Asim, evaluated by Gabrielle. Gabrielle, can you describe to us what objective is Eugene's speech on? Thank you. Yes, sure, go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, my role as hopefully an astounding evaluator is to provide fellow members and the speaker with helpful and constructive evaluations to learn as well as feel encouraged and empowered. Eugene is on level 1 and he's doing his third speech. And it's persuasive influence, introduction to vocal and body language. And the purpose for me is to watch him using vocal variety and body language to enhance his speech. This member has chosen not only to be evaluated, or has chosen to be evaluated on both vocal variety and body language. I hand over to Toastmaster.
Thank you, Gabrielle. Before we welcome Eugene to do his speech, I just encourage you to use your Woohoo notes. You'll see there's little square notepads on your tables. They're quite encouraging, like that, as Julia has raised. If you can just put little notes to every speaker or anybody that comes up to the stage, it's so encouraging. I found it very motivating. Online, there's also the chat that you can use there to put comments. And it serves as instant feedback as well. So with that said, let's hear from Eugene Asim, dopamine menu, gene asset.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Wasn't expecting to be first up, but let's do it. I want to start. Not on the camera. Oh, sorry. Who here likes to feel happy in their everyday life? Show my hand. In my speech, I was like, I assumed everyone is going to raise their hand. And that makes sense because that's what we all aspire to, right? But then there's this interesting statistic that I found. It's from the World Happiness Report. It said only 34% of people actually feel happy with how their life is unfolding, with their daily lives. And there's so many factors for it, right? One is that life sometimes sucks. But then we should also take responsibility and realize that that gap also exists because a lot of us put off feeling happy, and we treat happiness as an afterthought and think it's something that we'll achieve after we've reached the finish line or after we've ticked all the boxes. So we say things like, oh, when I save up and go on vacation, then I'll be happy and I'll be living my best life. Or when I enter that relationship, then I'll start actually feeling good and then being who I'm supposed to be. Or when I win the lottery. So all these dreams that we have, everything that we're working towards, we think it's because of the happiness that we will achieve once we get it. But I think what we should also consider is it's possible to feel happy now, to feel happy today. And nothing is more important than feeling good. Nothing is more important than feeling happy in your daily life. So everything we want, like I said, everything we want, whether it's money, it's a relationship, it's because we think we'll feel happy in the having of it. So what if we flip that? What if we tap into the feeling we are aspiring to and working towards now? There's a tool I use to achieve this, and it's called a dopamine menu. So what is a dopamine menu? It's very cryptic name of a thing. I saw it on TikTok. It's not that profound. But it's basically a personalized list of activities that produce the feelings you are chasing in life. And you do that with doing activities that you can do every day. So if you're chasing financial freedom, what does that feel like? You're chasing freedom. A run on a promenade, that feels like freedom sometimes. So why not do that more often and have that feeling more often? So like a menu, like a restaurant menu, what I did was split my dopamine menu into different categories. So I have the starters, the mains, and then I have the desserts. So, and also just to mention, so the purpose of a dopamine menu is to design your life so that happiness is not an afterthought, but it's built into your daily routine. So let's go with the starters. So these are like quick and easy things that you can do to achieve the feelings you're working towards. I, for one, I love having really like fresh. My bedding is always fresh and has like scented. It's always nice in the morning. Every time I wake up and feel that fresh feeling of my bedding, and just like, okay, this is the feeling I'm working towards when I buy my dream home. That feeling of homeliness, that feeling of comfort and like being at home. I feel it every single morning when I wake up, and I don't have to wait to build a house or buy my dream home. I can access that feeling now. So starters are things that you do, little things that you can put across your daily routine to match the feeling that you're postponing in the future, and something you can do every single day. Now the mains are a bit more time consuming, so they require effort, but then they require a lot more effort, but then they give really profound emotional rewards. So I, for example, have started doing a lot of yoga, and I'm not good at it yet. I will get good at it. And also my gym does reformer Pilates classes. I'm almost always the only man in that class. But it's fine because I'm using it for something, and it leaves me feeling good. So these things are quite difficult to do, but then that feeling of pushing my body past its limits, what my mind sees those poses and no, there's no way I can do that, but then I do it and I achieve those things. So that feeling of accomplishment and mastery is exactly what I'm chasing for in my career. But then now I don't have to wait for a big career break. I don't have to wait for a big job or a big accomplishment to feel that feeling. I feel those things every single day I go to a class. And so I encourage you all to also create something similar. Think of what that big goal you're chasing and then put that on your main screen and then find a task or an activity daily that you can work towards every day to grab that feeling. Now, the desserts are things that you do to be more to feel celebration. So I know, for example, you probably have some dresses or some clothing that you are saving up for a really special occasion. But why not take that out on a random Tuesday, just go to dinner with friends? Yeah. So, and for example, you have like cutlery or like really fancy dishes and stuff that you're saving to have guests in your home before you take it out and serve guests with. But why not just put it out on a Sunday luncheon with your family? Because those are all things that are worth celebrating, and it's important to tap into that feeling then, and not just wait for big achievements or big things to celebrate before putting those things out and then feeling those things that make you feel like you're celebrating a big accomplishment. So yeah, so identify those feelings that are associated with your goals. Find activities in your everyday life that could produce that feeling and do them more often. So create your starters, create your mains, and create your desserts. And I encourage you all to create your dopamine menu. Just be strategic about it. Sit down and really think about what you're trying to achieve. And then match the feeling, create your menu, and then stick to it. And daily, just make sure you really, really, really focus on feeling good, because everything you want is because you think you'll feel better in the habit of it. So why not jump to the feeling and cut out the middleman? Thank you.
Another round of applause for that. It's absolutely wonderful that you can be the only man in a yoga class and just feel good in that and not worry, and also just reward yourself with fresh linen every morning. I think that's a lovely way of practicing self-care. Our second speech is going to come from Alex Gessner. And he is going to be evaluated by Sally Burton. Sally Burton is going to tell us the points about the speech and what the objective is. Thank you, sir.
I get the astounding privilege again to evaluate an astounding member who is now on level 2, first speech of his level 2. And the speech title is "It's Green or Can You Not Communicate?" I'm very intrigued to hear more about his speech. And in his speech, his level is to understand his communication style. And he's asked me to look at his body language, his vocal variety. And I think I'm also going to give him just feedback, because I know he's been with us for a while now, and I know he's here to learn. So I'm really, really intrigued to hear it, and I can't wait.
It's Friday afternoon. You are the co-driver of your loved ones. You're cruising through Cape Town and you reach Crossroad. The traffic light turns red. The car stops. You wait. The music plays. And then the traffic light turns green. And you as the co-driver, you say, it's green. And the reaction of your loved one goes something like this. Oh, thank you, honey. Now that's for the newly married or just back from their honeymoon. More likely, the reaction is something like this. Okay, I'm going. Or maybe something more like this. Of course, I've seen it's green. Do you think I'm blind? You don't need to tell me. Or maybe it's even more like this. Oh my God, you want to drive yourself? You really think you're the best driver in the world, don't you? One content, 4 very different responses. Good evening, Madam Toastmaster. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Have you ever wondered why there are so many misunderstandings in our world? Just last week, one of my best friends called me to chat about the troubles that he's having with his sister. He said, I tell her XYZ, she just doesn't understand. In fact, what I'm saying is not what she's hearing. Does this sound familiar? Yeah. I think we've all been there. You cannot not communicate. This is a famous quote of the Austrian sociologist Paul Watzlawick. In the moment two people meet, even if there's no word spoken, communication starts. It doesn't need to be verbal. In fact, we communicate a lot with our body language, with our facial expression. Let me give you one example. Let's say you enter a room. Let's say you come into this room shortly before the meeting starts. You look around, you don't greet anyone, you walk straight to your seat, just sit down. People will start to make assumptions. Is he shy? Is he nervous because of his speech? Is he just in a bad mood? Or is he simply not interested? You see, we communicate always. And effective communication is so important to achieve our professional and our personal goals. Yet misunderstandings happen all the time. Watzlawick has dedicated his entire career to understand misunderstandings. And he concluded that in every communication, there are 2 main elements. Number 1, the content. And number 2, what he called social interpretation. And he found out that in no matter which situation, no matter under which context, social interpretation always supersedes the content. And social interpretation is made up of the relation that you have, but also of your body language, your facial expression, your intonation, and your tone of voice. So let's go back to our initial example. A straightforward message, it's green, can be interpreted in 4 different ways. Number 1, the content. Literally, the fact that the traffic light was turned from red to green. That is, according to Watzlawick, the preferred interpretation of man. We like to take things literally. Gentlemen, we love facts. That's the way it is. Number 2, the appeal. It's not anymore about the content. It's about the consecutive action that follows. So in our case, green light means you may commence driving, or what the other person is hearing, start driving now. Thirdly, the relationship. Here it is about what do you think about the other person. In our context, the speaker may think the other person is not paying enough attention, or depending on the context, is just a bad driver. And the response would be accordingly. According to Watzlawick, and the research has shown that is the preferred interpretation of women. This finding may provide already a big insight into many misunderstandings that I have faced. And then we have number 4. It's called self-disclosure. It's about what the sender of the information actually thinks about themselves. So in our case, the sender might think he's a far better driver and would have seen the green light way earlier. The response to this perceived Formula 1 champion sitting next to you will be according. Fellow Toastmasters, you cannot not communicate. Effective communication is of utmost importance to foster better relationships and to achieve our objectives personally and in business. Being aware of the fact that the content is usually superseded by the social responsibility will allow you to communicate more effectively, achieve your goals, and avoid misunderstanding. And it will make you eventually also a better profile. Thank you.
Giving us some takeaways there to learn how to communicate effectively. I think we saw in the Oval Office just this past week what not to do when it comes to communication. Another round of applause for Alex. The next speech is from Libby Edmonds, and Libby is going to be evaluated by Claire van Sale. If I can just ask Claire, who's online, to please give us some points about Libby's speech and what the objectives are. Thank you, Claire.
Good evening, everybody. So I have the privilege of evaluating Libby's presentation. She's working on the mentorship project, and that is a specific project about for her to show how she navigated the world of being a mentee and what she learned from it. So she's not going to give us a report on the actual mentorship project as in the manual, but she's going to relate her own story. So she wants to see whether we would find that what she shares about her story, how relatable that is to us, whether it's inspiring us to actually take on the role of being a mentor to a mentee, because actually it's a mutually beneficial arrangement. So whether you sharing your knowledge and mentoring somebody or they are mentoring you, both of you experience that benefit. And she also just wants me to look at pauses and other elements of speaking as well. So I look forward to hearing Libby's presentation.
Let's welcome Edmonds, Freestone, Libby Edmonds.
It was a stinking hot Friday, and I was standing on the side of the school hall with a hot cup of tea, thinking, who gives us hot tea on a day like this in Pietermaritzburg? I was sweaty, I was sulky, and I was sad. The 3B grade, as I like to call them, the brown, the beige, and the blue teachers all looked as boring and uninspiring as the speech that we had to go and listen to. I suddenly caught this pessimistic voice in my head. Libby, stop. That is enough. that negative voice had caught me. You need a mentor. Where was this optimism suddenly coming from? I thought I would allow my daydreaming to continue for a while. A mentor? A mentor. Yes, someone who was experienced in education, somebody who could support me in reaching my goals, somebody who would understand me and allow me to be myself. That sounded like an astounding idea. Suddenly, there was a bit of chaos where the 3 B's were, and I heard this voice, "Freestone, you beauty, come here." And then from amidst the B's, this effervescent being stood up. She was tall, with short blonde hair. Think of Jamie Lee Curtis. She had the most incredible clothes on, color from head to toe, long earrings, beautiful bangles, and she embraced the friend who had shouted out to her. I sat down. I could not believe what I was seeing. And I watched as Freestone engaged with the teachers around her. She had this charisma, this pizzazz. Everybody suddenly seemed to brighten up because of her. The way she spoke, the way she leaned in to listen, the way she touched, the way she laughed. It was as if her magic was like a magnet. And suddenly I was there. Hello, Mrs. Freestone. My name is Libby. Could I be so bold as to ask you? I'm looking for a mentor. And that was the start of a beautiful relationship. It was way more than just a mentorship. Freestone taught me about leadership. She taught me about relationships. She taught me about education and thinking out the box. She used to arrive in my classroom when I was least expecting her. It was like she had this intuition to know that she needed to arrive. She would fly in with her astounding, colorful outfit on, and she would always sit down on a little chair of the children's and say, "So, I'm here. What can you tell me?" Sometimes I used to giggle. It was as if she was my fairy godmother. And I waited for her to say, "Bibbity, bobbity, boo." She really encouraged me to look deep within as to what my goals were as an educator, what I wanted to bring into the classroom and into the school. I trusted her. I connected with her. It was wonderful. One of the things that she taught me, which took a long time, was to be brave. She said, sometimes you actually have to swim upstream, Libby, because when you're going upstream, that is where you're going to find where you need to be. It was on her recommendation that I did that. And after many years of teaching, I left full-time teaching to start my own education consultancy. It was about 6 months later, she phoned and she said, "Are you missing the kids? Come and teach with me. I've got a locum position." I jumped at it. I wanted to be in her school, to experience her magic and see how she taught and how she worked with her teachers. She believed in inclusive education. She believed that children at preschool level should be allowed to come into the school environment. I had a little boy in my class, Mason, who was severely autistic. He was very competent and could do advanced puzzles and intricate Legos, but he was nonverbal. He used to get extremely frustrated because he couldn't speak and would have tantrums. Freestone had taught all of us what to do and how to handle Mason. One day, he arrived at school and there was an altercation with him and his dad. He was having a tantrum and throwing himself on the tarmac. Freestone had everybody organized and all the children were safely taken around the side. She put a chair down for the dad and she lay on the tarmac next to Mason. She put her hand right next to his face. She gently took her hand and put it near his little body. He'd stopped wailing now, and it was just sobs. And then she put her hand on his face. She wiped his tears, and she said, Mason, should we go and play in the hideout? With that, he was up. He hugged his dad. He was so relieved. And off they went. Mason and Freestone, wallowing and wailing, I'm going to catch you. That day, she taught him an astounding lesson. She said, never, ever interrupt the inner child development. Just like a little chrysalis of a butterfly, if you blow on that chrysalis, you will disturb the development of the butterfly. Let the little people develop in their own time. It was a few months later, I got to experience her astounding wisdom for myself. My dad, who was inconsistent and unpredictable and thought he was Peter Maritzburg's oldest teenager, had been diagnosed with terminal cancer. I was so full of shame and guilt because a few months earlier, I'd made a decision that I was tired of his nonsense, and I'd started to see less of him. As painful as it was, I needed to protect myself. And now the shame and the guilt was killing me. I went into my classroom. Can you see this? Freestone. Not only was she my fairy godmother, but she was my guardian angel. She'd given me a little glitter ball that had an angel inside. I knew what she was telling me. I knew that this was a metaphor for life. That when we shake the glitter all the time in our lives, we never see the angel inside. I was fortunate to take the warning, to take the message from Freestone. I put the glitter ball down. I allowed all the past to be forgotten. Dad and I were now free. Free from pain, guilt, overwhelm, and anger. And we were free to hold hands and walk across the stones together. And what we discovered in those 14 months were gemstones. I still keep this little globe on my windowsill. And on the bottom, Freestone wrote, "Turn over often and think of Frank," who was my dad. And next to it, I have a quote that to me summarizes looking for a mentor. It says, if you cannot see where you are going, then find somebody who's been there before.
I think your speech just makes me want to shout, "Freestone, you beauty!" Thank you very much. Another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Our next speech is from Julia. I'm not going to butcher your surname. Mrs. Newly married. Julia recently got married. Congratulations. Julia's speech is going to be evaluated by Chantal. Chantal is going to give us her points about the speech and give us what the objectives are. A round of applause for Chantal, please.
Madam Toastmaster. Well, I have the privilege of evaluating Julia. Julia has given for me some of the most memorable speeches. I still remember some of the lines that you've used in the past, Julia, so I'm very excited at your next speech. She is on innovative planning level 4, which is a really high level. And the task is to manage projects successfully. This is her second speech. And the purpose of this project is for the members to practice developing a plan, building a team, and filling the plan with the help of his or her team. Of course, Julia has given us her own twist to this, and I think this is the second speech in a series. And she's dressed for the part, she's dressed for success. And the guidelines that Julia, in her very Julia way, has given me is please just fill everything and go with the flow. I aim to be a great motivator, entertainer, inspirer, and joy bringer, and I'm sure you will. Welcome to Julia.
Love, celebration, courage, trust, and the art of letting go. Good evening, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toasties, and guests. Today I stand here to talk about one of the biggest, astonishing projects of my life. And no, I'm not talking about a business project, vacation, or organizing a I'm talking about the wedding, my wedding, to be precise. An event with 150 people, set in a beautiful vineyard and bush in Fabau, and a plan that was larger than the continent. Astonishing. One. A huge plan and amazing team. So what did I mean? When you have a big plan, you need an amazing team and courage. I was lucky enough to have some incredible friends on my side. Kirsten, Mandy, Sandra, they weren't just my team. They were my lifeline. When things got a little, let's say, chaotic. Organizing a weekend destination wedding. And let's talk about detail work. I don't know if any of you ever have planned a wedding. It is like writing a book. Expect this book kept rewriting, and each chapter has 100 pages of detail with hopeful happy ending. Morning, noon, night, I was constantly researching, double checking, and yes, obsessing with every little thing. And then there was the travel planning for 66 guests from Europe. I spent so much time on that, I probably should have considered switching careers to not be only a tourist guide and travel agent, but a wedding travel agent. 2, trust. The key to success. And here's what I realized. It's not just about the perfect wedding. It is about a trust. Trusting my team, trusting my family, and most of all, trusting all of you. my husband. Ollie was my rock. When I got stuck on detail, or when I was ready to pull my hair out, he was there to remind me to breathe. It was through him that I learned to truly trust. That a project isn't about doing everything yourself. It's about trusting others to do it, and often even better than I. Three, the art of letting go. The biggest lesson for me? Letting go. For someone like me, who loves having everything under control, can you feel it? This was an absolute challenge. But I had to do it. I couldn't do everything alone. And once I started trusting my team, I realized that things started to fall into place. And it was an incredible feeling. Courage doesn't mean controlling every detail. It means having the courage to trust others, to get involved in the process, and to embrace the fact that nothing is ever going to be perfect. And that's actually okay. The best moment. Now let's get to the best part of it. One highlight for me, without a doubt, was the Boho Festival. Did anyone heard actually my first speech where I described the project? Okay, that's very unfair, Christina, because you were at the Boho Festival. And I hope you felt it like I did. Because one highlight for me, without a doubt, at the Boho Festival on Friday night, before the big wedding day, with acrobat, artists, fireblower, drummers, you name it, a great DJ. I will never forget that image. Everyone jumping, up and down, the ground shaking, their hands in the air, faces lift up, the biggest smiles, and eyes filled with purest happiness. Let me do this once more for you. Yeah! Christina, can you show me this? It was amazing. Usually you have people standing on the side. There was no side. This floor was shaking and everyone was in it to win it. It was like a scene from a movie. And honestly, in that moment, I felt like we had created something truly magical. It was like every detail, every moment of laughter was absolutely worth the work. In the end, as I said, it wasn't about the perfect one. It was about what we all experienced together. And I can honestly say that night at the Boho Festival, that's when I realized the true beauty of this journey. It was gigantic. Not just in scale, but in heart. Every step, every detail, every moment, mattered. It's absolutely. Looking back, I see how much I've learned through this experience. How I've grown to trust, how I've learned to let go, and how much stronger my connection with Ollie has become. The whole journey has been a testament to what we can achieve when we trust, delegate, and embrace love in all forms. And in the end, it's love that makes everything worth it. And it's just Astonishing.
I think I've never heard that reflection from a wedding before, where you look at it as a project and introspect on what lessons you could pick up from that. So thank you for that. Another round of applause. That concludes our speeches for the evening, and I think we can treat it very well to a variety of speeches. We've been transported in a car, learning how to communicate when the light is green. We've been to a wedding and a festival. We learned about the mentorship journey, and we even we've been given tips about how to design a menu for ourselves. Breakfast. What is it, Eugene? It's
starters, mains, and desserts.
Starters, mains, and desserts. I think we've been treated to a nice variety of speeches this evening. Another round of applause for us. At this point, I'm going to ask the timekeeper, Quentin, to just give us the speech times, and then we'll vote for that for the speaker, the best speaker for the evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So for the time for the speeches tonight, for the first speech, Eugene, your speech lasted 7 minutes, 23 seconds. Then for the second speech, Alex, your speech was 6 minutes, 59 seconds. And then Libby, for the third speech, your speech was 10 minutes, 53 seconds. And then finally, Julia, the last speech was 8 minutes, 11 seconds. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Quentin. We are now going to vote for the best speaker. Just put up the QR code on the screen if you can just use your cell phones. And then after that, we are going to break for a light snack for 30 minutes. The online guests, if you can please just join the breakout room that will be created for you, and maybe we will keep you company. Votes are in. Anybody still voting? I think we're good. Are you still okay? We'll wait a little bit. Good that it's anonymous, because then we'll know. We would have known that the last vote that comes in is yours. Well, the last bits of votes come in. We're told that the dinner is going to be another 10 minutes, so we'll break. We'll just have a longer break, so you can socialize, chat to people you haven't chatted to, and consider also being part of civil topics, which will be in the next part of the evening. if we haven't spoken tonight. And yeah, we'll reconvene in 40 minutes, which is now from now, 20 past 8. Okay. Thanks, Lucy.
Else. And with this speech, I had to do a second speech on the project. So this was now my conclusion of. I still have to deal with the suppliers and stuff what didn't work, but it's a different. It was a really captivating speech. I was at the edge of my seat. Really? It was so quiet, and I thought, oh no, don't be quiet.
I'm just going to be handing straight over to our Toastmaster leading the band.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that dinner. At this point in the meeting, we are going to ask for speech evaluations and their feedback from all our evaluators. The first evaluation will be from Gabrielle, evaluating Eugene's speech. Close from Gabrielle. Applause goes to Eugene.
And Eugene, the first ones I read, but they've given us an inspiring speech using an analogy, that of a menu, to draw our feelings into your lives, dopamine. And this is another speech we hear from you, which has such functionality, it has such depth, and comes from such a warm heart. It's always lovely to listen to. And it's not drugs that you suggest. It's something organic, something everyone can access. You have drawn us in close into your life, and not only is every dopamine accessible, you as the person have opened up in a beautiful, authentic way. As this evaluation is about use of voice and body language, let's jump into it. You wanted me to observe your eye contact, as well as the use of the space. I must admit that the lighting in this room is not always conducive for watching properly where the eyes go. But I was perhaps a little bit afar. But I would suggest that you turn your head more, speaking to this table, speaking to Jerome. Gunther, there in the back, are you sure that I have contact with him? Or Anna here in the front. Just let your gaze go around in the room so that everybody is drawn to the subject, which is important, and you sell so well. Your analogy of the menu is excellent, but it's not now the content as much as the other things we have to look at. Then you could even walk a little bit. I mean, because we are online, we are a little bit stifled. But you could go and say, have you ever had a dopamine feeling? Like I had when those fresh sheets in the morning, this flowery softener touches my nose. When I get up, I feel elated. I mean, I don't close my eyes, it wasn't, but you can go, use a little bit more, and then you can open up your arms. You never show the palms this way around, you always show it like that. Now, for you, it was a little more difficult to show really your arms, your hands, because you had some paper in it. And that's always our downfall in the end when we get emotional, because how can I with the hug the paper here? So it's, that would be your story is so good and you don't want to lose everything, and so you have the paper. But as the entrance point and the conclusion were so clear, and then you had a menu, was such a good structure
that you don't need so much to worry about having your paper, I think. Now, the important part of a speech is always the pace and the rhythm. And you started with something which was, if you play on it, really, really good. When I set up and go to a vacation, then I feel good. But when I get that raise in promotion, then I would be happy. I get into a relationship, then life will feel amazing. You know, a relationship, I mean, what to love, what more could we have? So you can go into that and pace it and find a rhythm in it. Maybe I didn't show it now too well, but when I save up and when I get that raise and when I go into the nation, then life will be amazing. Then pauses. Pauses are very important. And because you always have so much to hear, to listen to, one gets a little bit faster, but use your pauses. Nothing is more important than feeling good. Nothing. Think about it. Everything we chase, money, relationships, a new car, our dream house, it's all for the same reason. And we believe we feel happy. We believe we feel happy having it. Yeah, so I think pauses are important, and that you have pace and rhythm. You're a little bit fast sometimes, but what you want us to do is to dwell into your suggestions, to allow us to go into that and feel and say, yeah, he's right. Especially when you speak and then what is part of the voice, the vocal side as well, is the volume. So when you say the fresh sheets with nice smelling fabric, softener are one of my favorites. Okay, but now, you can speak there with a softer voice because now you are in bed. Okay. Not sure it's up and then. But I don't have to wait for a dream home. I can access it. I can access that feeling now. Now. Stop the bed. I'm luxurious, the bedding. So you can, again, because it's always important to show, don't tell. You tell us a lot, but I want to see more of showing, of you going. You have so many feelings. Show them. Take us there and allow us as well to go ourselves into the feeling. And then what I really loved as well was wear that outfit on a random Tuesday, not just for special occasions. Now, I was so clever of you and so nice how you, out of the cuff, pointed to Julia because she looks so stunning today. And she brings her wedding story. And you picked that up. That was fantastic. Wear that outfit. Wear that outfit. Not wear that outfit. Wear it. Come on, show how beautiful you are. Give us, you're inspiring us. You call to action. That is call to action what you're doing, but you have to take your volume up and a little bit more forceful perhaps. And then, and then you say, sit down and think what you really, really want. Sit down and think what you really, really want. Up and down gesture. Okay. My dear Eugene, you have put a wonderful menu together. You have beautiful sentences. You have a lot of adjectives. You have a lot of doing verbs. Bring them out. Risk a little bit more, but I am not button. But I love you. This speech is a beautiful personal one, and your character comes so amazingly through there as well. Thank you for giving us another example the man you are, and just risk a little bit more here and there. Overall, a wonderful speech and many, many parts of it well spoken, good volume, good body language, and then you set the cherry here and there on top. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Every option evaluation will call on the study the next evaluation. Or Alex. Thanks, Alex.
This application to Alex, but when it's typed wrong, and actually it's free, or you cannot not communicate. Alex, you excelled. For me, I've seen your growth. You've exceeded me as a member. You've been so good, but I've seen your growth, and it's amazing how far you've come. So to me, you've excelled. Today, you excelled your opening. I loved your opening. I love that you've got us right in there. I'm a visual learner, so he had me right in the car. It was nighttime for me. I don't know what it was for everybody else. It was nighttime. The couple had been out, the lights were flashing, and then she was just taking her time. So I was right there. I was very visually in your story. The way you speak is so calm and collected. I was thank you for setting the scene. And I think always with speeches, you're a storyteller at the end of the day. And I think in the modern times in industry now, we are all encouraged to be storytellers. And I know Alex works in finance, and your challenge is to make finance exciting. So it's great that you've got that ability to create a good story and be visual. I could see her in the car, I could feel it, even the honey. It just took you right there. So from a communication style, I think you've got the essence to be a great storyteller. I know you've got that ability. I think communication is such an underrated skill, and this is the topic you chose to present tonight was very relevant. Communication is what we do all day, every day, and this story will stay with me. I thought it was a very good analogy. There was also an analogy in it. And the whole thing of you cannot not communicate is so true. No matter what we're doing, we are communicating. I'm communicating, even though I'm talking up here, I'm also giving totally other people are picking up other things about me as I'm standing here communicating. So I always explain to my daughter it's like an onion. Sometimes you get to know someone, you meet them, then you meet them again, you keep layering onto someone, so you see them again. For me, I love the way you did use movement this time. You were a lot better. I love the way you used your fists to do the two sides, the two instead of going 1, 2. I love the way you used the fists and that you grasped the fists over each other. For me, that created the energy of the communication that you were talking about. I felt the energy there rather than going 1, 2, that we sometimes do. I love the movement that you used and grasping over of your fists. And the pace that you used was, I enjoyed the pace. I know because your demeanor is that you're a calm guy. So I wouldn't expect you to be floating around here. But I felt like your fists, I could feel the strength, I could feel the communication in that. I like the male, female. It reminded me of that men are from Mars, women are from Venus. And I think the humor came out a little bit in that. And I would encourage you if I was going to work on one thing, I would say look for humor. And because there is humor in it, the way we miscommunicate. I know it's been overplayed, I know stereotyped, but do it in your way. Don't do it in the stereotypical way. But you could have brought that out a little bit more because it is so funny in communication between men and not people, but we do put it as we communicate differently. And so I love especially with men, they like the facts, and that's why they often we as women we often assume things because we kind of go by assuming of how they put it and say it, and you know how it goes, assumption, make an ass out of you and me. So we often end up in this miscommunication because guys are fact check it, they want to know the facts, and we want to, well, I kind of said that. I was kind of totally right. You know, we're like in a feeling. So I loved it. What I think you could work on again is for me, the take home of your speech. I have so many nuggets I loved and loved in it, loved about it. I don't have that one take home point that I can repeat it at the part and say, I went to Toastmasters, I had this amazing speech. So I think that there is that in your speech, and I would encourage you to redo it and show that, bring that nugget out. Either go with the not communicating, not that how we all communicate without even communicating, or whereas I kind of went down another rabbit hole of like the triangle communication. So it was a little bit, I wasn't sure what it was going to take home. That was really my feedback to you. And I would also, my suggestion would be how you brought the beginning back, saying, be a better co-driver, because your speech started about being in a car. And I would almost want to add, and be a better communicator, like, because there were both those things in it. Showing the duality between male and female and miscommunicated communication. And so the driving was part of it, but the actual speech was about communication. And then to challenge yourself, with me a challenge, is I would push the human. I would, the connection, you got excellent eye connections and connection with the audience. I felt that you were looking at me. I felt that you were looking around. But the relatability of your speech when you told us about your phone friending you, I would almost make it even more those relatable moments. I never really got what you said back to your friend. You know what I mean? You told me that your friend called you, asked you about his sister, but then you went straight into the story of the philosopher that you mentioned, that you got the information from. I wanted to know, what did Alex say back to his friend? I was like, what did you think about it? And yeah, you've got this great content about the communication. But what did you call your friend up and say, hey, I just Googled it and there's a thing, there's a thing about how you miscommunicate. So that would be my feedback to you, but otherwise, astounding. Thank you.
So I've got in mind care because I'm wanting to switch hotel and care. Hotel, if you can come up to please give us feedback for Julia's speech. Just allow those players online. If you can get ready to come up and give us feedback on Julia's speech.
Julia, as always, your personality and your flavor, your brand came through. So I think Julia really wanted this to be light and easygoing. So my evaluations was gonna flirt with it. She asked me to not make it too long. And if I talk too much, or she just didn't want to hear too much. So this is also going to be freaking short. Julia, you're at level 4, so you're actually a very accomplished speaker, and there's a lot of very polished things that you do. I think you know it, and also think you don't. So, you know me, at level 4, you've heard a lot of speeches, so that came through. I love your vocal variety. Oh my goodness, you have got nailed down your pauses. Using the way you use the voice is amazing, and you've got that. For want of a better word, perfect. That you've really got it. You've got it at a very high level, in my opinion. Also, your body language is amazing. You own the stage. You move steps when you need to. A lot of hands gestures, and obviously your jumping. I mean, very bold and brave, but I'm going to circle back to that. So you really use your body very, very well and very effectively. The sentence that I loved was the book kept on rewriting itself. That to me is quite poetic and poetry in English. So it's a beautiful sentence, and I would use that again if you're ever using that speech. It's a beautiful concept as well. And so concepts are always nice in speeches. I think you spoke to us about the courage of letting go, and OCD people that got triggered, and just encourage everyone to just enjoy yourself. And And you bring that across so beautifully. That is your personality just there first. That was great. You are very entertaining, and I think you know that. So you'll do that too as well. And that's also good to speak. Not everyone think you naturally entertaining. You love it, and you own that space. That's fantastic. You're not scared to take chances, the jumping up. I actually was gonna. I thought you do it. I'm not gonna jump. I'm not bold enough to jump right now, which is what someone like John. Remember, he would do the jumping. So I'm not even imitate you. I just don't have that boldness and courage. So I must applaud you on that and use that as well, because not a lot of people are going to do it and do it well. You own it. Okay. I also like the very interesting technique you have, Julia. When you don't get the reaction that you want, you push your audience. You're like, you pushed us the second time. I can't remember their question. I thought, wow, she's making us give her back what she wants. And I think that's a very good technique as a speaker that you do well, because you want it and you demand it in a fun way, obviously, but not fun. So I think that's a great technique that you should use as well. And because if anyone's mind was wandering, you brought anyone back, not that they were, but that's a great technique to use. Sense of humor and entertainment comes through. And your big ending. I mean, you went off the bang, so well done for that. To sum up, you excelled at body language, vocal variety, using the stage, being entertaining. You're very authentic in yourself, and that is your brand, and that is something that you use well, and definitely flow with that. Okay. So, you may want to work on finishing some of the sentences. Now, Julia, English is not your good language, so I feel bad. I couldn't do a speech in Afrikaans, and I spoke Afrikaans for a lot of my life, but Afrikaans wouldn't come through. So, obviously, that's just what I could say. Perhaps what I feel is to actually write out the sentences in full, take 2 or 3 or 4, and write them out before and make sure that you're finishing them. If you want to be a polished speaker in English, that would definitely be something to work on. And interesting to me, look, what's very powerful, and I think was great in speeches, were absolutely love for others. And not a lot of people can bring that across. You can really love someone, and you, because you're so passionate, you bring that across well. And I think you could have pulled that thread better. I think you could perhaps tie it together more in a theme, or you could mention it, circle back to it and stuff like that, which would maybe tie the speech together in a more powerful way. Well done, Julia, on a captivating.
To give us feedback on Libby's speech. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, there we go, timer. Great. So very well done, Libby. You asked me to check if it was an inspirational speech that would motivate people to become a mentor, consider becoming a mentor. I certainly would have done that, because you highlighted the points from both perspectives of what you learned from your mentor. And it was so clear how from our side, we were looking at these two characters, your mentor and you, and we could see how you were both benefiting from this relationship. I loved how you had a beautifully crafted, inspiring and informative speech. And I'm sure that everybody's definitely considering becoming a mentor, and if not that, to ask for a mentor. You caught our attention at the beginning. I loved the body language. I loved you leaning up against the wall. So the use of body positioning as well as body language, and the description of this hot tea and the ridiculousness of this in the heat. The one thing you mentioned about sweaty, sulky, and something else. But if you'd given a pause, I might have caught that third one. It was clever, but I didn't have enough time to write all my notes and capture the third one. So consider giving a pause, because it was really catchy what you were saying. Then I loved the use of alliteration about the brown, the beige, and the blue. And then you let us know that those were the teachers you were talking about, and that they were as uninspiring as the speech that you were listening to. I loved how you also used the dialogue of what was happening in your head and telling us about that and giving it a slightly different voice. It helps to create this image and to draw us into your story, which I absolutely loved. I love the way that you leaned into the camera in different parts of your speech, which engaged us, and just the beautiful word pictures that you created. The one part where I thought that your pause would have made a really big impact was the story of Freestone and Mason. And you described how she went and lay down next to him. To illustrate what you were explaining to us was the connection that she made with him. If you'd put a pause in there to illustrate that part, I think it would have added power to it. You also brought in a second story about your dad, and based on the timing, there wasn't really enough to do both. So consider just using the one, perhaps keep it to the educational side because that's where the mentor came in. You crafted this speech beautifully. I love the quote that you used at the end about if you can't see where you're going, then find someone who has been there before. So you had this beautiful start, but you brought in this thing at the end and there was no real conclusion. So the recommendations are look at the pausing and your conclusion. And there was something else, just the screen's flashing with it. Oh, the timing. None of us online were aware of the timer. So there was you had no point of reference. But what I'd like to suggest is when you're creating your speech, think about timing it for 6 minutes. Because then it allows for extra pausing and where you might speak slower than when you were practicing it. So those are the recommendations. Pause. Time it for maybe 6 minutes to allow more time so you don't go over. And maybe something for us as a club, we need to consider having a timer on Zoom so that there's something that we can actually see, because otherwise then we need to have our own timers on our side, which is not great. But an absolutely inspirational, informative speech. Thank you very much, Libby.
I think it's just wonderful that every speaker gets feedback immediately. And although the feedback is directed to that speaker, I think we all benefit. And I love how detailed and committed all the evaluators and teams, because I think from all of the evaluations, each of us can pick up at least 3 things that we could work on our own speeches. I'm going to request Quentin to give us evaluation times. And then once we know that, we'll be able to go into the exciting part of the evening of feeling topics.
Astounding feedback to the evaluation tonight. So for the first evaluation speech, Gabrielle, and so the time was 8 minutes 25. The second evaluation speech for Steffi, it was 6 minutes 34. Then Claire, that's actually online, so again. So Claire, your time was 4 minutes 19. And then finally for Chantal, it was 4 minutes 41. Thank you, Rich.
Chantal will come and introduce the table topics as our table topics master. We are looking forward to hearing what the topics are for today. Thank you, Chantal.
The table topics, are we still doing our counter? Is that guys? Table topics is where you get to practice. What I love about it is You don't have to do that big speech at home. So it's a very easy way of giving your speech and basically doing a mini icebreaker. Also, for those of you who freezes when faced with like a difficult question or someone puts you on the spot. Yes, so it's that fantastic thing. You need to overcome that neural pathway, and table topics is the way to do it. I personally don't put any pressure on myself or the speakers with table topics. I believe you should fail forward. So start off badly and improve is the way I approach table topics, and this is the way to do it. What I've done is I've divided them into easy questions and hard questions. If you knew, and so to look at table topics, if you're really bad at it, just ramble for 1 minute. It's between 1 and 2 minutes, and just take an opportunity to just say a speech and say it in front of people in a safe space where you'll be encouraged. So I've got easy questions and I've got slightly more challenging questions. And I'm going to be calling on the people that said they would be happy to speak. So Christine. Yes. Sorry. Yeah. So I was also asked by you at the beginning when I want to do it. That's what I had to say. Yes. Well done. And last weekend, actually Friday to Sunday, I went to Cedarburg. So I love the Cedarburg, and whenever I have a little bit of time, at least a weekend, or let's say 2 nights off, I take some friends, mainly women, and I guide people through the mountains, and we always have an amazing time. And it's actually self-care because it's time off. You do not have cell phone reception. That's the best part about the Cedarburg. You can switch your phone off. I actually told my husband already the reception dies in that picture. That's not true, but then yeah, I put it on flight mode. My phone is off, and this is probably a time off. So no phone, no obligations to check my phone, and being myself with a group of friends. Also having less. I love going to the mountain with wild camping for 1 night. So we just have what we have on our laptops. Very little food, very little everything. It's quite uncomfortable sleeping there, but that's the great part about it, because when I then come home on Sunday evening and I sleep in my bed with that fresh linen, that you mentioned before, and think like, oh, this is so nice. So that's another aspect of self-care. Going out, being in an uncomfortable, challenging place, and then actually coming back and having another self-care moment in terms of, oh, the fridge is full of food, and I have this nice linen, and I have my husband waiting for me, and yeah, that's self-care for me. Good.
Well done, Christina, on your first speech. Is that the first time you've ever stood up here?
Yes.
Well done. How amazing. The next person, Gunther.
It's a hard one. Let's see what.
It's a hard one. Whoa.
Let's see how.
Name and explain 3 top self-care habits or tips.
I think when it comes to self-care, it's a topic that makes everyone feel somewhat uncomfortable, because we know we don't always take as good care of ourselves as we possibly could. For me personally, there's been a couple of self-care things that I found to be quite beneficial, exercise being one of them. eating well. But the one that I feel like I've never really heard enough of is actually community and friendships. I went through a period of my life where I felt quite lonely, and apparently being lonely is worse than smoking cigarettes. So, no judgment on cigarettes, though. But I felt once I found a community of friends that I really enjoyed spending time with, my own well-being improved so much more. So that's something I'd really recommend. And there's like so much advice out there in terms of, exercise, meditation. But I feel like family, community, and friends is something that can really just elevate your self-care practices, just make you feel better about yourself. Thank you.
That is what I always love about Toastmasters, always learning. And it just always so inspires. Thank you so much for that. You just reminded me again of so many good things. Well done on your excellent first, I want to say icebreaker, but table topic. Okay, next up is, I'm doing that so badly. That person there. Okay. Okay. Okay, you just no, they're not here. Okay, so Jeremy, you nominated your girlfriend. Are you willing to take a chance? Okay, why not? All right.
Yeah.
Wow. People love a challenge tonight. Okay. Explain good self-care habits you have seen in other people.
Good self-care habits that I've seen in other people would be actually taking up space. When I see someone in a room taking up space, expressing themselves, talking about themselves, I think that is an incredible self-care habit, because I see someone basically telling themselves that I matter. And isn't that the essence of self-care? Of telling mainly yourself, but also others around you, that my voice matters. Even being in this room and watching all of you stand up here and share yourselves, share your voices, share your stories. And even though you know that they'll be criticized or you'll get feedback, but that doesn't stop you from coming up here. And what this ultimately is taking up space, of learning to speak and project the voice and tell the world that what I think and my story matters.
Stop speakers. These people could be practicing somewhere else. Well done. And then any volunteers, or I would love to hear from Jeremy, guys.
Jeremy,
Jeremy, sorry to do it straight after, but can you come up and give us a speech?
Speech?
Yeah, well,
Speech.
So we have to. What self-care habits do you want to put in place but haven't, and why? What self-care habits do you want to put in place but you haven't, and why?
I really appreciate this very small moment being right here in front of me. Looking you all in the eye and seeing what incredible beautiful things you are. So take that in. Have a constant reminder, everyday invitation. Very small now, this very moment, to be with you, to see you, say I love you. I am. something I wish to do now. Thank you for your
Yes, to our online people who
Look this way. There, here.
Okay, yeah, I can't see what they're saying to me though. Claire wants to do it. Claire wants to do it. Claire, are you ready? Okay, I'm running out of the hard ones, Claire. You're gonna have to
Pick whichever one.
But these people are very bold and ambitious.
Fantastic.
Give an example. Ready, Claire?
Yeah.
I think you're gonna like this one. Give an example of mental self-care and how you can use it.
Example of mental self-care and how you can use it.
So there's different forms of self-care. I think it's been mentioned. Sometimes it's exercise, sometimes it's, but what would mental self-care be?
Okay.
And yeah, are you good? And how can you use it? Okay, thank you.
So I think the most important thing that we need to remember is we are actually the most important relationship we need to have. The relationship with ourselves. And to love and trust ourselves. Because if we don't love and trust ourselves, we can't actually love and trust anybody else. Because we can't give and we can't receive what we don't have. So we need to give those things to ourselves. So the mental part of the self-care part, for me anyway, and what I've seen with people around the world that I've worked with, is we don't love ourselves and we don't trust ourselves and we don't respect ourselves. And then we're looking for it from the outside, and we're never going to receive it from the outside. So we need to give it to ourselves. And when we love, trust, and respect ourselves, we are going to be making decisions about what we eat, how we move, how we interact with people much better than when we don't do that. Because what I've realized I did for 46 years of my life was I put everybody else first, neglected myself. And we do that thinking that's the way it should be, but it actually shouldn't. We need to prioritize our happiness. We need to prioritize ourselves, because then it enables us to give of our best to the people that we engage with, whether it's our loved ones, whether it's co-workers, clients, whoever it is we're working with, even the people in the shops that we deal with. If we're not taking care of ourselves, what we give is not necessarily the best. So I think the most important self-care thing is to love, trust, and respect ourselves, because if we start here with us, we will then treat other people with more love, trust, and respect. So I think that's my take on it. Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Table Topics Mistress.
I love that. Yeah, I'm going to listen to that again, actually. So thank you very much for that. We're going to take one last person for table topics. Are we going to take one person online or in the room? Is there someone that indicated online or in the room? Eugene. Yes. Okay, can I just say that out loud? When the question is, when do you need self-care? Over to you, Alex.
Self-care has been quite a big thing that I've tried to introduce in my life. Where I find it most necessary is when I feel too caught up with work. You can often get lost in the pace of life, and maybe it's not necessarily just work, but work, socializing. So I think when life's getting too busy and you're looking at your schedule and you can't find a night for yourself or a date night or something like that. It's finding time to prioritize, even if it is just time for yourself, whether it's going for something that you want to do, not always meeting up for a drink or going to that social event that you get invited to. So most importantly, it's when life is getting too busy and it's just taking time for yourself.
Perfect time, absolutely, to make time. Okay, and I'm gonna over to our wonderful Toastmaster.
I think Chantal's been such a graceful and empathetic table topics master, and I think those questions were quite interesting, and we enjoyed all the first-time speakers. Well done for putting your best foot forward. I think you all did very well. And I think the topic of self-care, getting deeper into it and hearing from the individual table topics speakers, it's really good. I read somewhere that if you don't make time for your wellness, you will forced to make time for your illness. So it's actually a very important thing that we are all aware and put some effort into our own self-care. I'm going to ask Quentin to give us the timekeeper's report for all the table topics.
Okay, so there was a lot of information packed in a very short amount of time. So starting with the first speaker, Christina, 1 minute 26. For the second speaker, Günther, it's 1 minute 06. Then the fourth speaker, Jeremy, 101. I didn't catch your girlfriend's name, I'm sorry about that. Misha. Okay.
Misha.
And for Misha, 1 minute 09. Then for Claire, 2 minute 02. And then for Alex, 58 seconds.
Thank you very much, Quentin. I think you did a fantastic, astounding job as a time this evening. I will then request that the QR code be put on the screen. Just for best to vote for best evaluator and table topics. Lots of people are voting, but still don't forget the Google Notes. I think they're still quite valuable for people to take away and sort of look back at when they are reflecting on their speeches. I'm going to request Helanda to give us the MR counters report. Over to you, Helanda.
Okay, thank you, Madam Toastmasters. Well, today it's challenging to capture the sound of the room perfectly, but even though I have here some notes, well, I want to congratulate Alex, Libby, Julia, Quentin, Andrea, because I have nothing from you. I have not here from Eugene, 14 souls, 1 bat, and 2 ants. I have notes for Sally, 1 A, 5 1 bit I, and 4 ends. From Claire, I have 2 arms and 4 ends. For Christine, I have 6 arms, 1 soul. And for the 4th participants on the tabletops, I can't get the name. I have 3 ends. It's all. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Alanda. I'm now going to call upon Anna to give us the grammarian's reports. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, Toastmaster. So this evening's word was astounding, and Tabang, you used it twice. Gabriella, you used it once. Sally, 3 times, well done. Libby, also 3 times, well done. Quinta, once, and Claire once. And then what was quite nice to pick up was I love the dopamine menu. That was such a nice word to remember, the 2 words to remember. And Libby, also your blue, brown, beige, how to just point out what people were there. And I love the way the short and pregnant went through. We went around the room between Gabriella and Tabar around Quinton's intro. And Chantal, I like the word joy bringer and polished and captivating. So those were my takeaways for the evening. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we've reached the end of our program. I want to thank you all for participating fully. I think everybody participating in participated in different ways. I think I've enjoyed this session, and I will hand over to our president, Justine, to officially close the meeting, announce winners for all the voting that we've done, and yeah, hear back from all our guests. Thank you so much.
Sorry, I wasn't quite ready for you.
Shame, sorry.
No, you're fine. Thank you, Tabang. You were outstanding. You really were. And I knew you would be. So thank you. Big round of applause for Tabang. You did a great, great job. We'll wait to get you as our Toastmaster again super soon. Watch this space. I want to just acknowledge all of our new role players who took on roles this evening. I love it when you take on roles. It makes my job so much easier. So please continue it. So Tabang, thank you. Anna, Ramirian, thank you. And Quentin Timer, thank you. Thank you so much. And Chantal, first time doing table topics. Great. Thank you. That's what you did, where you had simpler ones and then slightly more challenging ones. Great plan. I think we can bring that in for people who have never done table topics before, and then they can do a table topic. It's not so scary, it's not so daunting. Okay.
Or dive.
Or
dive in deep.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think, Tabang, my biggest takeaway that you said, and I think maybe it speaks to me, because I've said it before, but it's that whole comment about how you speak to yourself is not how you would speak to others. So there's that quote where it says, if you were to speak to yourself, if you were to speak to your friends or your family the way that you spoke to yourself, they wouldn't be around. So it's that whole thing of speak to yourself the way that you speak to your friends and your family, which is sometimes quite tricky. So thank you for reminding us of that. And all of our speakers, I'm sitting here going, jeez, I can't give you all an evaluation. You've received very long evaluations. So I think you've got enough to go home with. But well done. Your messages were so powerful. Each and every one of you had such a powerful message. So thank you for sharing. I think we've all got lots of little nuggets in our pockets taking home today. And then again, our evaluators, every single one of you have given us such insight. Everyone was over time, but that's okay. It's not a contest. But if it were a contest, we would have no one. And I know that time. I'm sorry, guys. I will pin it for next time because I know it was a bit of a problem. I didn't realize you couldn't see me, so I will make sure that I pin everyone so that everybody is. And then table topics. I mean, geez, guys, we've got all of our newbies, Christina, Alex, you're all standing up and speaking. It's just amazing. And then Gunther, you are basically a new member because you're standing here and speaking flawlessly. So really amazing. And Bishop, well done. Everyone, you did such a great job. So thank you so much for sharing. Onliners, thank you for your input too. Okay. Before I go on to our club business, next week, Tuesday, the 11th of March, is our contest. We have speakers who are entering the International Speech Contest. It is starting in our club and it's going all the way to America eventually. So they need to get through to club, then they go into area, then they go into, is it district or division? District, then they go into division. And then they'll go into, I don't know if it's semifinals from there. Claire should maybe tell us. and then they'll go onto the world stage. So it's a really important evening for us. We've got speakers just doing the International Speech Contest. I ask all of you who aren't already coming to please come support. It's nice for us all to be together, to just get a nice little evening together. I don't think it's going to be super duper long. And then we'll just sit and have a dinner together thereafter. So it's not a normal meeting. It's 3 speeches. So it's 5 to 7 minutes for each speech. But then the long part comes in where the judges, I have to take the judges' information, what they have judged. So it's not an evaluation. They just put little first, second, and third. I go off with the ballot counters. We figure out the result, create beautiful certificates. And then we'll come back and do a little awards. And then we'll have a dinner. So it shouldn't be very long at all. So please come, it's a party. Okay, that is next Tuesday. It's same place, same time, everything's the same. Still 165 for members. If guests want to come, please come. It's a learning experience. You get to see some of our top speakers. Well, the 3 people that decided to take the step and be courageous and brave and do the speaking. We have got Claire, Nina, and Michaela. Very excited. Okay. And then I realized I was too busy eating in the break. Got this really beautiful sheet. I've even made it so colorful. And I didn't come to you and ask you for roll sign-ups. But this, I really need you to please, before you leave this room tonight, just come to me. It's not so scary. We just put your name down somewhere and we can just, I've got a Toastmaster already, so that roll's done. You don't have to stress. But there's table topics. There's
I have to do table topics.
Table topics. Okay, so table topics is true. Yeah. And then we'll do our counters, but you can see I need a lot of evaluators and I need all the other roles. Okay, so too. Will you just put in their prices? Thank you, that's amazing. But please, before you leave, come put your name down. If it's not already there, we can put it down for the following meeting. Okay, then we are organized and it's ready to rock. I want to just check in with our lovely guests. I think Leslie has left us. It might be quite late for her, but we've got Cicelo. How are you? How did you find this evening?
Thank you so much. It was quite a wonderful evening. It's so educational, and I feel like I've learned quite a lot, and there's still a lot to learn. And has been doing this since forever.
So we'll see you again. Is that what I'm hearing?
Come again?
Will we see you again?
Yes, definitely, of course.
Okay, great. Hopefully we can see you in person next time.
I'll do my best, yes.
Okay,
I'll do my best. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for being with us tonight. And then Bishop, Jeremy, I'm not really going to check in with you because you're not. Okay. Jeremy, please give us some feedback.
I love that.
Will you be back in April? Okay. Will you come and join us for the contest? Okay, great. Lovely. We need some extra faces so that we know. Okay, thank you. Bishop, what is your takeaway?
My takeaway is to show, don't tell.
Show, don't tell.
Show, don't tell.
Okay.
Show, don't tell.
Show, don't tell. Love it. Okay, thank you. And we'll see you next week, hopefully. Maybe. Okay, maybe.
Maybe.
Might be going on a date again.
Yeah.
Jeremy told Bishop that they were going on a date. It's like, sure, I would have been so angry.
If you're going to put me on stage, I hate you and I love you for it.
Here we go. You're facing your fear.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're okay with it. But next week you can maybe have a night with.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm okay with that.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being with us. It was lovely to have you. And Luca, how was your evening with us? Amazing. And we'll hopefully see you again as another guest.
Yes.
And then maybe a member.
Yes.
Yay! Amazing. Thank you. Gunther or Gunther? Gunther.
Yeah.
Okay. Gunther, what is your takeaway?
I really enjoyed it. Last night when I was thinking of this, I was like quite nervous.
Oh.
But I feel like I was fine. So I
You were
enjoyed
great,
it.
yeah.
It's just cool to know like the more you practice, the better it gets. So be here again.
Amazing. Thank you so much. It is completely that. It's standing up here and it's speaking each time that you gain the confidence and you try so hard to avoid the ums and the ahs and the yas and whatever that might be. Even repeats. I think we forget about the repeats. I went to the farm. You don't even realize that you're doing that. Thank you so much. It's lovely to have all of you with us. We love having our guests. Okay, awards time. Sally, will you be? Yeah, but you must share the screen, please. Oh, sorry. Before we do those awards, I realized. Yeah, move that with the screen. I know. Sorry, I just need to find. I realized on level ones, I didn't give you such a sweet, pretty little banner. Can I quickly give you those? So for reaching level 1, you get this very cute ribbon. We can find somewhere in your house to put it. So Andrea and Alex. I know. Thanks, Sally. Okay, drum roll, please. So you just started. topics is let's evaluate now. Okay. Oh, missed it. Well done, Kate. Can you hear me? Oh,
Probably.
This one.
Probably.
She could see on the screen.
can you hear me, Claire? Oh, okay. Yay, well done. Okay, drum roll for the speaker. Wow, amazing. Thank you so much. Well done to everybody. That's funny. Rochelle, but you are actually a member now. Just remember that you were there and I was sure, but I didn't check in with you. But you are a member, so it's fine. Sorry.
I am. All good. Thank you.
I wanted to just share with you something we spoke about in the expo, which we had this week, where we spoke about people preparing their speeches and how it's important to try not to leave your speech preparation for the last minute. So on the Friday night and you're speaking on the Tuesday, what we're aiming for and the ideal is, so you've got a whole month until our next meeting. You've got a lot more than 3 weeks, but you've got a week to sit and write your speech, to write, refine, just write, actually. Second week, you're going to rehearse it, and then you're going to practice it and start refining your speech. And then in your third week, you're going to just keep rehearsing, because now you've got a great speech and you're just rehearsing it. Your mentors are here to help you to do that process. But it's tricky if you're sending your mentor something on a Saturday and meant to be speaking on a Tuesday. So some of us have a life, not all the time, but we don't live and breathe Toastmasters, as it might come as a surprise. So please, focus on writing that speech, refining it, practicing it, rehearsing it, getting it to the best of your ability, and then coming here, because then that makes your evaluator's job that much easier, but then you also get a beautiful evaluation because you've already had the nitty-gritty parts sort of needed away. Okay, so if we can try and do that, and then also focusing on, like Julia did this evening, is practicing, bringing a speech that you've already done and practicing it by incorporating the feedback that you've received. And then you must mark that off as a speech on Pathways. Don't let it stop you from, just because Pathways tells you writing a speech with purpose or body language, whatever that might be, bring in the speech you've already done, put that feedback in, and then give it back to us. And we can just give you a generic evaluation. So we just want it to fit into your life. So whatever happening in your life, bring that speech that you want to do for whatever it might be and come and practice with us. Okay. Dr. Bang brought your speech that you were giving to teenagers. And then we gave the feedback. We were teenagers again. So I just wanted to touch on that. And that was it. So 11th of March is the contest. It's important that we all can try and be here. I would love to have you here. And the judges, you're going to keep yourselves very quiet because you need to be super anonymous. And then our next meeting is on the 1st of April. Don't know what the theme is. I would have to get back to you on that. And please, before you leave, come sign this pretty little piece of paper. If you're a newbie, I've got some nice roles that you can sign up for. And those online, send me a message, sign up, and we can get going. But I wish you all a lovely rest of this week. Thank you for being with us, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a lovely evening. Drive carefully, those who are traveling.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Claire, good luck with your last week of prep for your contest. That's so exciting.
It's exciting. It is.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Alanda.
Well done, Libby. Well
Bye.
done.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well
Thank you.
deserved.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, Rochelle and Cicelo.
Oh,
Thanks
they've
for being
left.
here. They've gone.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, Gabrielle. Thank you. Claire, you'll obviously be there next week on the 11th,
Yes.
rather. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be in person.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck. Are you doing both, speaking and evaluating?
I'm not very keen on evaluating, to be honest, but if you don't have enough people,